we've got another big business leader joining us here on set. We are joined by Mark Weinberger, who's Global Chairman and CEO of EY. Great to have you on today.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, everybody keeps talking about all the snow and just how warm it is on set in contrast.
I know.
Nice
You got a nice setup here, I must say.
Yeah. So this is your 6th year here at Davos. You're an old hand, I guess we could say. But what's the discussion that's happening this year in terms of where we are in the global economic cycle? Markets getting a bit too frothy, perhaps, some concerns on that front, potential geopolitical risks. What's the sentiment among CEOs here in Davos this year?
It's a good question, Akika. This year, we're probably more optimistic with, obviously, synchronized growth around the world, broad-based growth around the world. We're seeing confidence increased, investment by businesses more. They've restructured themselves, profitability up, financial markets up, jobs and hiring is up, all extremely positive. Certainly, though, we can't ignore the fact that there's still a lot of turmoil out there. And last year, we were talking about very different issues. One year does not completely change the scenario. So I think this year, we're going to talk a lot about some of the good things that have happened, certainly accommodative monetary policy, but also have to focus on the things that created the uncertainties last year, like income inequality, like the need to make sure that technology innovation continues in an inclusive way, not just letting the rich get richer and the rest left out. So that's going to be a lot of the discussion I'm expecting while we're here. And of course, always we'll talk about women and trying to get them more embedded into the workforce.
You talk about the contrast from last year. This time last year, the focus was, or the concern was, about whether protectionism was really taking hold here. There were concerns about elections coming up over in Europe as well. It does seem like those concerns have subsided. Where do you think that is right now in terms of risk?
Well, I think they've subsided, as you said. Remember, last year coming in, we had right off the heels of Brexit, right off the heels of Donald Trump, who never had any role in the United States government before coming and taking over. Right off the heels, or going into this past year, many elections that people were worried about in France, in Germany, in Austria. That's all now behind us. So they have obviously been resolved in a way that nationalism did not result in the nationalistic candidates winning. But we can't lose sight of the fact that in each one of those elections, there were increased seats by the nationalist parties. And so there is still this underlying sentiment. And, Akita, that's what I really think we can't lose sight of. We can't be complacent and think all of a sudden, just because there wasn't last year a huge change in governance and move towards complete protectionism, we're going to see this year trade wars. We're going to see continued nationalistic policies. We're seeing it today, and we have to stay focused on that.
Let's talk about the U.S. because you are the committee chair for the Business Roundtable Tax and Fiscal Policy, just coming on the back of that big tax bill being passed over in the U.S. You're talking with CEOs that you work with closely about what exactly this means and how you use that investment that comes from the tax cuts. What's the discussion right now?
So there's no doubt that this is a landmark change in tax policy in the United States. Now, it doesn't make the United States a tax haven. It comes up with a 21% rate, changes to a more international system where you're not going to have worldwide taxation, just taxation on your domestic earnings so you can move capital back. It comes with incentives for investment in plant and equipment called expensing. All of those things means corporations will have more cash flow. And to your point, there's a question, will they just give it to shareholders in the form of dividends and stock buybacks, or will they invest in capital equipment, increasing productivity and hiring? We've seen 200-plus U.S. businesses already give bonuses to their employees, increase their pension funds, announce big investment plans in plant and equipment. I think you will continue to see that. You will also see, though, where investment an opportunity is not there, they will use that money to give money back to their shareholders in some form, which include pension funds and many other things. So I think we're going to see over the next several months that playing out.
What specifically has EY done? You've argued that this tax bill will create more jobs, lead to more growth. What are the specific numbers you're looking at EY?
So EY is a partnership, so we don't have the corporate relief that was given, but we're going to hire 65,000 people again this year. That's what we hired last year across the world. Some 15,000 in the United States, 25,000 across Europe. Our fastest growth will be in Asia. We're seeing last year we grew nearly 20% in India, 13% in China. So it's really like the economy is growing across the world. We're growing. What's different for us, Akita, is that we are going to be hiring, in addition to traditional tax and audit and consulting and M&A skills, data scientists and digital experts. We now have 21,000 people who are experts in data and science, and that's changing our hiring needs.
Let's talk about one more thing, which has been a passion project of yours, which is gender equality.
Yeah.
This year here at Davos, the first time in 48 years, Davos is being co-chaired by all women. There's no question there is a broader debate that's happening here, but I wonder what is waiting on the other end and how companies address this issue.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this is sending a great signal with the several co-chairs here all being women. But it's not just those at the top that we need to be looking at. We need to be looking at, we still need more women to be participating in the corporate ranks here. Like any business, you can look and measure a company's diversity by just at the top. But what really matters is giving women and all minorities an opportunity in the ranks to get operating experience, get on the biggest accounts, learn the new skill set so they can rise to the top and hire more. And I think that's what we got to work on when we look at skill set development.
Okay, Mark, unfortunately we're out of time, but it's great to have you on set early this morning. Thank you so much.